Sales. It's kind of like Goldilocks, okay? You're going, okay, she's nuts. She's absolutely nuts. What's she talking about? Goldilocks, you remember the story? Goldilocks is in the forest. She comes across a little house. She knocks on the door. She goes in, there's porridge. Oh my, this bowl is too hot, too cold, just right. A lot of salespeople are like this because, remember, she goes upstairs and then there's beds. This bed is too large. This bed is too soft. No, this bed is too hard. This bed is too soft. Oh, this bed is just right. Well, salespeople are kind of the same. Some salespeople sell too hard, and some salespeople sell too soft. But we all want to sell just right. And you're looking at me going, what is too hard? What is too soft? Well, let me ask you, have you ever been talked to by a salesperson who has pitched, manipulated, pushed, wouldn't let you go, right? That's a little hard. How did you feel afterwards? Frustrated, angry, icky. Icky, perfect, right? That's too hard. And it's not a good feeling, right? Now, we're going to ask ourselves, well, why? And hey, we've all, I don't know about you, I've actually made that mistake. I have. I've pushed too hard. And why do we make that mistake? Well, for some salespeople, we're focused on the wrong thing. One, we think that's selling because selling used to be that way. Years ago, that's the way it was, right? Oh, you do the promotion, though you use those words, right? The script and that's the way it was supposed to be promoted. And you use that slick terminology and that jargon, and that's the way, and you don't let them, once you corner them, you don't let them go. Push, push, push. Don't let them go until you get the no, and then keep going, right? That's too hard. But what's too soft? Too soft. Oh, would you like to go for coffee? Oh, let me tell you about my this and my that and and they keep going and going and going and they keep going and going and going. And do they ever ask for clothes? No. And do they just keep going and going? Have you ever had that happen? And how does that make you feel as a customer? You kind of feel used and abused, right? You think they're asking you for coffee, but really, what are they doing? They're just they're trying to pitch you without really pitching you because they never really asked for clothes. It's all about them. And that's the problem, ladies, is that when you're too hard or when you're too soft in your selling, and come on, we've all had those bad experiences, right? Has anyone had those experiences, too hard or too soft? I'm not going to get you to put up your hand, but I can tell you, I know I've made that experience. I've been too hard sometimes. I've been too soft. Just right would be better. But how do you get just right? Right? That's the problem. But here's the problem when you're selling. If you are too hard or you are too soft, you don't get the sale. Or if you do get the sale, you get it once and you never get it again. Too hard, they're going to go, oh, I'll just buy just to get rid of them. Too soft, I feel sorry for them because, oh my gosh, they need help. So I'll just buy from them, make them go away, or poor thing's never going to get another sale in her life, so I'll help her out. Right? So that's what happens. But here's the problem. The last 18, 20 months has changed everything. The pandemic has changed everything. We have undergone dramatic change like we have never seen before. Our economy has absolutely, we've had brick and mortar companies, long-term companies that have closed. Swimco, Le Chateau, Victoria's Secret. Did you ever think that those kinds of companies would go under and close their doors? Never, right? We've had 10,000 small businesses close their doors in Canada. And many more are just holding on. And that doesn't count little guys like us that are just kind of holding on. We have to be genuine and authentic. We can't leave customers feeling, what'd you say, icky, right? We have to be genuine and authentic. When we talk to people, we need them to feel trust. We need to build relationships where they feel that you're being honest with them, and more than that, we don't want to feel awkward and icky. So here's what happens. We have this brain, and this is what goes on. When you have step-by-step processes that you're following, you stay in confidence and control. When you don't have a map, like a mental map to follow, right? Like, it's kind of like driving a car. If you're driving a car and you don't have a map, you take wrong turns, you crash, you burn, all sorts of stuff. When you have step-by-step processes to follow and you have this mental map, what happens is you stay in the left brain. That's your analytic and your logic brain. When you don't have those processes to follow, you go into fight, flight, or freeze. That's your emotion side of the brain. When you go over there, you miss steps, you take wrong turns, you take risks, you start thinking about what you're saying, not listening to the customer. You start giving away the bank, giving away discounts that you would normally not make. You start saying the wrong things, doing the wrong things. You get in your head. I mean, it's a mess. You don't want to go right brain. It's bad, bad, bad. And that's what happens when you go too hot, when you go too hard or too soft. Because you're focusing, you're not in the zone where you need to be. And worse, what happens is the customer, they start feeling, they go into what they call the reptile brain, which is the amygdala. And what happens there is they don't even know what's happening, but psychologically, they feel they're being pushed. So psychologically, they're not going to buy from you, regardless, because they feel like they're being pushed psychologically. So what happens is you need to create meaningful conversations where you're in the zone, where you're actively listening, where you're hearing what they're saying, where you're building trust, where you're creating relationships that are meaningful conversations, not presentations that are fake and phony and pushed and contrived and too hard or too soft. You want to be in that zone where it's just right. And when you have a mental map, when you have step-by-step processes where it's just flowing naturally, psychologically, it's happening for the right reason so that you're out of that other icky stuff that's happening, the too hard, the too soft, where you're in that right zone, that just right, that's where the good stuff happens. And when that good stuff happens, that's when you have sales. And when you have sales, when you're having the just right, that's when you have that you have your sales happening and you have a continual flow of income. And that's, of course, when all the magic happens in your world, when you go from stalled to unstoppable in your business. And then that's when you get to live your life with passion and purpose, and all of the great stuff happens, and you start having your vision come true. Anyway, thank you very much. And